You're listening to part 2 of my exact itinerary for Disney World in July with our 3 kids. This episode is going to be jumping right in where we left off. So if you have not listened to part 1, stop. Do not listen to this episode. Go back and listen to part 1, which was from last week, and then come back and finish this episode. If you have listened to part 1, this is the continuation of our itinerary. I ended up telling you my day-by-day plans for each park day, which ended up taking a while. So let's just get into it and start part 2. Hello, and welcome to the Laid Back Magic Way podcast. I'm your host, Dana Stanley, creator of Laid Back Magic. As a mom of 3, I know how tough it can be to find time to plan a Disney World trip that doesn't leave you feeling stressed or overwhelmed. That's why I'm here, to help moms like you create Disney vacations that feel even better than they look on paper. Here, we're not chasing perfection, but creating our next favorite memories. So whether you're brand new to Disney or looking to go deeper into the details, this podcast is your go-to for simple tips, mindset shifts, real-life trip recaps, and expert insights to make your trip magical and manageable. New episodes drop every Monday, so be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment. Okay, let's dive in. The following day, because we had such a late night with the fireworks, just the thought of being stuck on the monorail, like a hot monorail with a 2-year-old, I just really think the boat sounds lovely, or walking, worst case scenario. So because that's such a late night with the fireworks, the next morning we are going to sleep in a little bit and just kind of get up when we get up and head to Animal Kingdom on the bus. Now, we're not doing a lot in Animal Kingdom. I'm not going to be booking Lightning Lane multi-pass. The only thing that I'm going to be buying is a single pass for Flight of Passage. For us and the bigger kids, we love that ride. We cannot miss it, but no multi-pass because I actually want to pre-book things in Magic Kingdom for when we go back at night and hop. So we're going to get to Animal Kingdom and go straight to Bluey's Wild World. It's a Bluey and Bingo experience, I want to call it. This is the biggest thing that I need to give feedback on for my members that I've been getting asked about, and the priority for my kids, who I think will love it. Again, I will report back in another episode. And I hate to say I want to get this over with, but I want to prioritize this in the morning. It's not something that's going to be an in and out super quick thing. And the waits have been better in the morning. So I just want to do that first thing. We'll do Flight of Passage around lunchtime because I love all of the food options around that way before heading back to the resort for a break. Then I can use my pre-booked Lightning Lanes that, again, are not booked yet, but my plan is a Pirates Lightning Lane, which will pair perfectly for Beak and Barrel at 4:30. This is a Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge. I'm just treating this as kind of a snack because after that, I will have my headliner Lightning Lane booking of Big Thunder Mountain. And after we ride that, we can pop over to Pecos Bill's for dinner, which is the one like quick service that I don't absolutely hate in Magic Kingdom. And then we will peace out. I forgot to mention earlier that before the fireworks, I'm going to be watching the wait time for Buzz Lightyear. If it's not too long, that's a perfect time to ride Buzz Lightyear right before the fireworks because it's right by where you check into the dessert party. If we don't ride it that night, I'm going to try to grab it as a day of Lightning Lane after we scan into Pirates of the Caribbean. And this is all a perfect example of what a trip looks like when you are not trying to maximize. I know that we could be doing so much more, and I know that we will get to do so much more because I'm leaving a lot of this open. If something has a low weight, we can hop in line. If one of the kids decides, hey, I actually do want to try that ride, or I do want to meet that character, or maybe the opposite. Maybe they are freaked out by things that I didn't think they'd be freaked out about, it's not that big of a deal. Our last day in the parks is kind of the only early morning of the trip. I would like to be out the door on the early side. And that's because with our pre-booked lightning lanes for Epcot, I'm most likely not going to be able to get a lightning lane for Frozen Ever After. I might. Again, I like having backups for things that I know we really want to do. So my plan is to get to Epcot for early entry and head straight to Frozen. Hopefully it's running. If it's not running, again, I'll try to get a lightning lane for it later, followed by meeting Anna and Elsa. This is something that I can't get a lightning lane for. It's not open during early entry. And it's something that actually my 2-year-old son really wants to do. He keeps saying that he wants to show Elsa his trucks. And he likes to sing Let It Go. Even though he never asked to watch the movie, he really likes that song. He keeps saying he wants to meet Elsa. And I have to remember and put a mental note on my schedule, remember to bring a truck so that he can show Elsa. I know that this is going to be a really cool duo if it all works out in my head the way that I have it planned, of riding Frozen and then meeting Anna and Elsa. And hopefully that works, because the lightning lanes that I want to pre-book are Test Track. My girls are really excited to ride that, and it is a hard one to get, along with a pre-booked single pass for Guardians of the Galaxy. I like doing this around a lunchtime when it's super hot, because if you have my Epcot guide, you know there's an indoor playground really close by that I like to take the kids to while I'm waiting for Colton to ride Guardians and vice versa. It's also a good time to be in air conditioning and feeding the kids lunch while another parent gets a head start. Today's episode is sponsored by A Mouse and a Beach travel company, and there was something about what the owners, Dave and Mary Price, decided to do differently that really stood out to me. You may have already known that they help families plan Disney vacations, worldwide cruises, all-inclusives, all kinds of adventurous travel. But what I thought was really cool is what happens after the trip. So when clients return home, A Mouse and a Beach makes a charitable donation in honor of that family's vacation. The travelers actually get to help choose where that donation goes, which is really cool. They can select one of the 3 main charities or decide to designate it to their advisor's selected organization. I love that, because so much of travel is about creating memories and connecting with the people we love. And this is just one small way that those vacations end up making an impact beyond the family taking the actual trip. And it's without any additional cost to your family. So wherever you find yourself wanting to go next, A Mouse and a Beach will partner with you from dreaming to booking, preparing to packing, all the way through traveling and deciding where to give back. Their advisors are with you the whole way. You can learn more about A Mouse and a Beach and the organizations they support through the link in the show notes. After lunch, I'm kind of keeping it open. It really just depends on how everyone's feeling. We could go back to the room and take a break. My son could maybe take a stroller nap. But regardless of what we do in the afternoon, I have a dinner reservation at Chefs de France at 5 o'clock, which is on the earlier side, because I have a feeling little Crew Boo, after meeting Elsa, is going to be pretty tuckered out and end up falling asleep in the stroller before we have the chance to go back to the Grand Floridian. So I wanted to do something a little earlier. That way we're not waiting around for dinner. Followed by a lightning lane for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. This is something that I'm being strategic about and not making any promises to anyone, because it is a difficult lightning lane to get day of, but it's easier than getting Frozen. Inside of my lightning lane toolkit, I have everything listed by what's included for each park, which rides have lightning lanes, how many of each category of lightning lanes you are able to pre-book, which ones are harder to get than others, how to read the data before your trip so that you can spend maybe 20 to 30 minutes of planning before the trip, knowing how lightning lanes work so you're not wasting your money like a lot of people do, so that when you have a trip like mine, you have already done the thinking and the thought process and all of the prep work, so that once you're there in the parks, nothing feels like a big deal. Nothing feels like an emergency, because you're not waiting in those long lines. This is the day before we go home at this point, so I can see me going one of two ways because I know myself a little bit too well. On one hand, I'm going to be anxious to get back to the room and start packing to go home. Or I'm vibing because I had dinner at Chefs de France. I rode Remy's. I grabbed a glass of champagne and crew took a nap in the stroller and everybody's just having a great old time. I have it penciled in that because we're in France and Epcot, which is near the back entrance of Epcot. Yes, Epcot has 2 entrances, 2 exits. We can walk through the International Gateway and walk on the boardwalk, which is my favorite place to be. We might be missing it since we're not staying there. And we could maybe get a slice of cake at Cake Bake Shop. We could do a little shopping, have the kids run around, just see the boardwalk at night. If we do that and we're going from the boardwalk to the Grand Floridian, I'm not going to be like walking back to Epcot or doing anything convoluted to go back to the Grand Floridian because there are no resort to resort buses. I'm 99% sure we would just call a minivan. So a minivan, spelled M-I-N-N-I-E, cute, is booked through the Lyft app. And what's nice about minivans versus an Uber or a regular Lyft, which we have been known to do many, many times, is that you're guaranteed 2 car seats and they're driven by Disney employees, Disney cast members. They have Disney cartoons on. The van looks like Minnie Mouse, so it's just a little bit more exciting. If I went this route, it would be like the last hurrah and I would be okay splurging with a minivan, which costs a little bit more than a regular Uber. If you're planning for Disney and you haven't thought through the transportation yet, make sure that you are aware of how everything is positioned. You can literally go on Google Maps and type in 2 points and just see how far away they are from each other. If you can walk, if there's a boat, if there's a monorail. If you're a member already, print out the maps that I have in the transportation guide. Whatever you need to do, just think about it ahead of time because people will underestimate how big of a deal that is in Disney World and how big Disney World is. They just think, oh, I'll just go from here to there. It's not always that simple, but it can be easy if you just think about it ahead of time. And then day 6, Sunday, is our departure day. And I do not have a flight home. And the reason why we haven't booked anything is the flight that we want to book would be a 9 p.m. flight home. And at first I was like, no way, Jose, but I'm kind of leaning towards doing it. And just, if it's a really trash night, at least we're going home. Like, I feel like if anything's going to go wrong, you want it to just be right before you're in your own car and sleeping in your own bed and not on the way to vacation. So this is the day that's still up in the air and I might have to go back and think through things because, I mean, technically we could go to a park if we had a 9 p.m. flight, but I have done this one other time before where we went into a park on a departure day and I didn't love it. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it again, but it wasn't my favorite thing because all I could think about was going home. But I would for sure have a very slow morning. If we do leave at 9 p.m., one of the good things is I don't have to rush back the day before to pack. I could do all of my packing Sunday morning. We could get lunch at Wailulu Grill. I actually do have that booked. I have an 11 o'clock lunch at Wailulu. I figured if something changes, I could cancel it. I thought it would be nice to have before we fly home. But that's something I'm going to have to cover in the follow-up episode of what we actually ended up doing because I'm not actually sure what our departure day is going to look like. Those are all of my plans, but I can tell you the things that I don't have planned. So I do not have any water parks planned. I do not have Disney Springs planned. That could be a potential thing that we could do the day we go home. But on a Sunday, I probably will end up skipping it as well. We are not doing any rope dropping. We have one early entry morning that that I will categorize as like a laid back rope drop, but not a true, head to the parks at 6 a.m., be first in line at the gate. We have 2 no park days of arrival and departure out of the 6. I know this itinerary looks very full because it ended up being a lot of me talking and explaining, but I want you to notice that every day has a built-in break and a lot of room for, we'll see what happens. There was a ton of strategy and thought behind what parks for each day, when should I place my lightning lanes, what time should our dining reservations be, what are our absolute must-dos, if there is a ride that is new, when is the best time to ride it to give us the best chance without stressing ourselves out. And that's the part that I want you to copy. And not the exact plan of what we're doing, but the thought process and the system that I'm using, that's the part that you can copy for a laid back Disney trip. This is very much a pre-trip report, the plan as it stands. And I think the most fun part will be the post-trip report. I don't know if I'll do it like park by park, maybe. You can DM me on Instagram and let me know. I've done past episodes where I did like plan versus reality, like here was my plan and this is what it actually ended up being. And I did a full day in Magic Kingdom. So I could do that again of this was the plan for Epcot and this is what it actually looked like. Here are the things that went wrong. And then I could tell if anything was a great idea or like a big, big mistake. If you're planning your own summer trip, I highly recommend the sketching episode plus my Laid Back Magic journal, which is free and linked in the show notes for you. Also, my Lightning Lane toolkit, which covers how to read the data that I'm talking about. Or if you want all of the things, join Laid Back Magic, which also comes with support from me so I can help you make decisions for your specific trip. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Laid Back Magic Way podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode and it was helpful for you, it would mean the world to me if you'd write a quick review. Your reviews help more moms like you find the show, and I read every single one of them. Seriously, thank you in advance. You can find me on Instagram at Somewhere Worthwhile, and I'd love to hear from you there. DM me if you have any questions about this episode or what you'd like to see in future ones. Until then, keep planning for your next favorite memory, and I'll see you next time.